Hey everyone, so tonight I thought it would be a good idea to go through some news clips and just see about what happened with the Turning Point USA event that happened at UC Berkeley only days prior. What really happened? Because one side's saying, like, oh, there were peaceful protests, and the other side is, well, saying something completely different. So I want to react to some news clips. Hold on, I am going to share my screen. Give me just a second here. Okay, so let's go to the first one, which is by NBC Bay Area.
Build a website you love
Oh,
with Wix.
skip over these commercials.
Where your words
I
create.
apologize.
So, what exactly happened last night on the Cal campus? The U.S. Attorney General says the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force and the DOJ are now investigating those protests outside the Turning Point event at UC Berkeley. Turning Point, as you might know, is the conservative organization founded by Charlie Kirk. As NBC's Jody Hernandez reports, there are very different views about what happened last night.
Very different views. You can definitely say that again. Here's a thought, like, why don't you actually report the actual news? Why don't you show like actual footage and then let everybody just come to their own conclusions instead of just trying to make one side look good or one side look bad?
This is the video that appears to have led Attorney General Pam Bondi to launch a federal investigation into last night's protests on the campus of UC Berkeley.
Why would she even have an investigation over that? It's just people like raising up signs and yelling, I don't want this. And you're allowed and free to do that in this country. But I guess that it was Antifa, who's a group that's not supposed to exist, which they actually do exist because there's large people that believe in this and they gather around and they have meetings. It's a group that exists. It's not just an idea.
Bondi tweeting, Antifa is an existential threat to our nation. The violent riots at UC Berkeley last night are under full investigation by the FBI-led Joint Terrorism Task Force.
Opening investigation is the bare minimum of what we should expect from our Justice Department.
Mark Tran.
No, duh. Open an investigation. Duh.
With the Center for American Civil Liberty believes UC Berkeley didn't do enough to ensure the safety of attendees.
Well, I haven't seen everything yet, but from what I'm hearing, that appears to be true. I would say that at every liberal school where there's a conservative outlet that's going to come visit there, they should have increased security and they should have extra police staffed and on call just in case.
He claims had to walk through screaming protesters to leave the event. He says many were scared for their physical safety.
The university knew better. It could have done.
Yeah, that guy, he was flipping off everybody just going by. And honestly, that's like a very mature thing to do. I feel like if you really have a point, which a lot of these leftists don't these days, and again, I'm saying this as an independent voter, but if you use hand gestures and you just yell and then have to resort to violence, I will say that you do not have a leg to stand on. Your ideas just don't have a leg to stand on. So better luck next time, be more mature, actually have some evidence to back up your claims.
Or to prepare. And I hope that the university will take this as a learning opportunity and to prepare better for the future. Main thing our side.
Okay, I was at the UVU event where Charlie Kirk was shot. They didn't learn there. They didn't learn, hey, maybe this isn't a good idea to just have like really lax security. Come on, we live in a world where we can't afford this anymore. They should have had more people here at this event. if there was violence, which we're going to get to in just a moment, I guess. But until then, I'll just continue watching.
With doing being loud and proud and making clear we don't want Turning Point here.
But Hoku Jeffrey, who helped organize the protest, calls the claims baseless. He says beside a scuffle before dark that led to some arrests, including the arrest of a man wearing a...
Okay, what was this guy doing for him to get arrested? I guess we'll get into that in just a second.
Red Charlie Kirk t-shirt. The protest was relatively peaceful and he believes effective.
I thought it was a real victory. I mean, we took over, the students of Berkeley campus took over their campus and made clear we're not going to be bullied or intimidated by Turning Point USA.
You know, you don't have to go to any of these events. You don't even have to associate or be near it. By going there, you were just showing that it's such a big deal to you. You were going there to show that it's such a thing that everybody has to show up for. It was really like, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of these people are like, oh, we need to push back. And I'm thinking, you know what? You've pushed us for far too long. You've pushed this whole country into this transgender nonsense. You've pushed them into believing that, oh, criminals aren't really criminals. You've pushed them into believing that if you're a white male that's heterosexual, you suck and you're awful. Like, we've had enough of this.
Fascist organizing by Donald Trump.
UC Berkeley says they haven't been notified of any DOJ.
Okay, I know that Antifa thinks that they're anti-fascist, but really, like, if you want to shut people up and not express views, that's fascism at its core. That is fascism. So the next time you're trying to shut someone up because they have a different viewpoint than you, just think about how fascist that is.
DOJ investigation, but intends to fully cooperate. In a statement, they said, there is no place at UC Berkeley for attempts to use violence or intimidation to prevent lawful expression or chill free speech.
Thank you. Thank you for issuing this. Now, please put it into action.
They went on to say the event proceeded safely and without interruption, with more than 900 participants in attendance.
And I also have concerns, as the top civil rights lawyer in the United States, about whether the Berkeley police are doing their job under the law to protect citizens equally.
Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon appeared on Fox tonight, promising a thorough look at potential failures of UC Berkeley. As to whether a civil lawsuit is also coming, the Center for American Liberty, the organization Dillon founded, says we'll have to wait and see.
I think there's a lot to be discussed, but I think that's premature. I think more to come on that in the near future.
Jody Hernandez, NBC Bay Area News.
Work is a pain in the ass.
Okay, let's get past that commercial. Next, I'm going to watch one that is from ABC News Bay Area, see what they're going to say. Next, it will be from Fox.
A night of protests turns bloody at the final stop of the controversial college tour. Several protesters taken into custody outside the...
Okay, so I have to say, when he says controversial, I believe that what controversial really means is just that there's two different viewpoints. And honestly, like, I believe that most everything in life that's worth it is controversial. I think every religion is controversial. And that doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that sometimes it causes a stir. It stirs the pot, just because people have a different viewpoint. So anyways, going on.
Turning Point USA event at UC Berkeley. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dan Ashley. The conservative group's nationwide tour ended tonight here in the Bay Area, and that stop comes exactly 2 months ago to the day when founder Charlie Kirk was shot and killed at the first event of the tour in Utah. For this breaking news update, let's go to ABC 7 News reporter Frances Wang. She's live on the Cal campus where the event just wrapped up not long ago. Frances, you saw a lot of protesters and a lot of security, too.
Yeah, Dan, organizers expected these protesters, many of them showing up hours before doors even opened.
Okay, I like how organizers expected these protests. That at least shows that they're trying to take some safety steps and get some safety measures in. But let's continue.
There were some tense, even violent moments you can imagine with protesters and attendees just standing within inches of each other. At one point, police even had to move the line.
Where were you 2 months ago today when you heard Charlie had been shot?
The Turning Point USA tour ended here at UC Berkeley with hundreds packed into Zellerbach Hall. Outside, students and other demonstrators chanted and protested throughout.
There's a furry there. I got news for you, furry, in the audience, but animals don't protest because animals don't know anything about politics. So, therefore, you being here actually shows that you identify as a human. Random there. But see, there's a furry right there. Right there. This is so ridiculous.
Of the night.
They're using our facilities, resources to do it, which I think is just crazy. It's like, go somewhere, we don't want you here.
Somebody does want you there. Somebody does want Turning Point USA there because there has to be a chapter there if they're going to actually be there. So somebody wants them there. And you know what? Just because you don't doesn't mean that there's a lot of other people who do.
Events like this should never happen on this campus or anywhere again.
As people here for the Turning Point USA event gathered here in line, they have just been let in, but as you can see, the protesters are upset, yelling at police who are standing there ready with riot gear. Tensions.
Okay, obviously these people all want to be deaf because they're yelling and they have loud pots and pans that they're just banging. Yeah, you know what? I think that there's going to be some conservative that's going to see you in their office in a few years from now because all of you are just going to be super brainwashed and not have any jobs, actual jobs in the future.
Escalated. Fights, fireworks, smoke bombs erupted.
Okay, I like how they're finally getting to the point where they said something escalated. And they are showing that there have been some arrests and that there were fireworks and some other things that went off.
Creating chaos.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we got to listen to that sound again.
Fights, fireworks, smoke bombs erupted. Creating chaos.
Yeah. When Charlie Kirk was shot and I was there, when the gun went off, I thought, well, maybe it's just a firework. And I saw a good-sized puff of smoke coming from the roof of the building where the sniper was. And anyways, my thoughts are just even hearing this sound, I just look back to that time and I think that everybody there probably thinks this is a gun going off. Oh, it's so scary. But it was a car. It's not a gun.
You know what that noise was?
And confusion. At least one person was hurt.
Oh, this guy was hurt? This guy that they arrested in the other video was hurt? Well, let's look at more.
Multiple arrested. Attendees and supporters of Turning Point's founder, Charlie Kirk, not deterred.
When you see someone that courageous with their faith, you're like, why am I not that courageous with my faith? I want to be that courageous with my faith. I should be not afraid to wear a shirt that says Jesus on it, even though everyone looked at me today and gave me dirty looks. It's like, that's okay.
I want to.
Girl, you go for it. You go for it. I will support you 100%. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you had anything else on your shirt as well. I would support you for using your free speech. But I love that it's about Jesus.
Encourage free ideas expression. I don't want one side to dominate the other. And I think there's valid points on both sides.
Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Why can't we just think more like this guy? There's valid points on both sides. And in all honesty, what I'm thinking now is there's not really much valid on the left because they have to resort to violence and extreme measures and lots of loud sounds. But let's keep watching.
Including actor Rob Schneider questioning free speech here on campus and addressing the protesters outside.
Comes from a place of emotion. And that's tough.
Even without Kirk, the night.
I like that. I like how he says you're coming only from a place of emotion. Well, he didn't say only, but you know. Yeah, I have some people that I know where, oh, it's so horrible that so many people are being deported and their families are breaking up. Well, when they came here illegally, they knew that it could be an option and they knew that something could happen that would make them be deported. So, I guess I feel sorry that they're separated from their families, but I don't really feel sorry that they've been deported because they knew that that could be a consequence of their actions.
And Turning Point USA Tour concluded with his signature Prove Me Wrong format. Attendees given time to line up and ask questions or share their points of view.
And Dan, there were some ticketing issues, which many of the speakers blamed on the university. As for the protesters, they remained outside throughout the entire event. They remained until the attendees were let out, chanting and yelling at the people here at Turning Point USA tonight. Police essentially had to escort many of those attendees out and off campus tonight.
It got so bad that they had to escort. The police had to escort many of the attendees off campus that night. How awful. So let's go to another one here. I felt like that one was a little bit more moderate than the last one. But let's take a look at the Fox News one.
Get ready for an in-demand career with Penn Foster's online healthcare programs. With our flexible
We are seeing that KTVU Fox 2 is above that active protest scene. Let's watch a little bit of their coverage.
USA's event on campus tonight at Zellerbach Hall. That is the group Turning Point USA, founded by the late conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Some Cal students say they are disappointed with the school for allowing the event to happen.
They're disappointed for even allowing this event. Oh my gosh, this is how fascist these people are. They cannot hear a different viewpoint. They cannot accept that there's a person that has a different view than them. Oh, it's so horrible. We even allowed somebody who has an opposing view on campus.
So far, at least 2 people have been detained, and that event starts in about an hour as you take a look at that large group outside of that event. We have seen that crowd continuing to grow as the afternoon has gone on. We want to show you some video from within the last hour. We've highlighted for you as some fights broke out in this.
Okay, he's saying some fights broke out, but I do, before I get to that, I want you to see this. It says TP USA out of the Bay. I'm thinking, no, we should infiltrate them even more. You know what? They deserve to not have their views heard because they've been so loud and obnoxious about it for years. And I'm just saying that from my own emotional self right now, because I do believe people should have free speech.
Crowd. Again, we know 2 people have been detained as emotions are high and tensions are high as we saw some of those protesters clashing with people.
Let's take a look.
Are high as we saw some of those.
This guy,
2 people have been detained as fights broke out in this crowd. Again, we know 2 people have been detained as emotions are high and tensions are high as we saw some of those protesters clashing with people waiting in line to get inside. We know the university has added.
Look at that. This guy is beating him up. This guy is beating up this guy. And it looked like he was trying to run away. The guy in the red shirt. Hold on. Let's take a look again.
People have been detained as emotions are high and tensions are high as we saw some of those protesters clashing with people waiting in line to get inside. We know the
look, this guy here is beating up the guy in the red shirt. He tried to run away and this guy just grabbed him.
University has added enhanced security measures. They've called in a lot of police from Berkeley as well as UC.
Okay, well, it also seems like the guy in the red shirt was chasing down the guy that beat him up too, so.
Berkeley and Turning Point USA has also hired some of their own independent security to be on campus. There are strict policies to actually get inside of Zellerbach Hall, but we know certainly tensions are high outside of Zellerbach Hall right now. We want to show you some more video here of some of that law enforcement presence as they took at least one person, they detained at least two people so far, but video of one of them being detained and put in the back of a police car. Again, we know Berkeley police are on hand, private security, as well as UC Berkeley's own campus police. This is a situation that we are continuing to monitor tonight, and we will bring you any updates as these things develop tonight ahead of this event set to start in the next hour.
And I'm hearing from our producers here that today does mark 2 months since the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We don't have our raw helicopter feed of that situation anymore, but this is how Fox News was classifying this. They say a bloody brawl broke out near the Turning Point USA event at Berkeley in California as agitators staged a protest. 2 men spotted fighting as a mob formed around, and then police were called in. Several arrests ending up being made. We'll let you know at KTVU.
Several arrests were made. That's how violent it got. Not just 2 detainees, but several arrests were made. Now I'm just gonna go to one last one. Or maybe not. I did hear that they had a good one on the Charlie Kirk show. We had a guest on there recently. Pardon me, I was not very well prepared, as you can very well see.
You know, Patriot.
Oh, I miss that guy. He was so good. Oh, here we go.
I thought I knew what therapy was until
please,
I
no more
found the
commercials.
right therapist. And let me tell you,
I've talked about Patriot Mobile's commitment to faith, family, and freedom. But have you made the switch? And what happened was that Turning Point is inciting violence by holding a free speech event in Charlie's honor, something he died of. Lila Youssef, she is part of our Cal Berkeley TPUSA chapter there. She's a second-year law student. And she was stuck in the mob, had glass bottle and paint thrown on her. And I want to welcome
this girl that's about to talk had a glass bottle and paint thrown on her. Okay, that's anything but peaceful. I would arrest the people that did that to her. Arrest them. Even if they spent one night in jail. They should know that is not appropriate.
Welcome her to the show to give us her firsthand account of what she saw and witnessed. Layla, welcome to the show. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on and making the time. I know it was probably a late evening for you all there and an eventful one. So why don't you just start by telling us what happened, what you saw, and we're gonna unpack this piece by piece here.
Sure, it was absolutely a horrible experience with the Antifa protesters.
It was a horrible experience with Antifa protesters. Did you hear that? There was Antifa, which is an actual organization.
Pretty much I finished class around 5:30. I walked over from the law school, and kind of it was clear that there were 2 different groups. It was the Antifa and the violent protesters carrying their signs. At that point, they had already started mocking Charlie Kirk's death. Shouting slurs like Nazi, fascist to anyone walking by, wearing a MAGA hat or anything with the American flag on.
You know what? I really want to get a MAGA hat. If you know how I can get one that's not for like an uber pricey price, I'd love to have one. The real reason why is because I just want to wear it around just to piss people off. Because I love doing that. Honestly, like, if people are going to be this bad and this extreme, you should have like a certain designated area where they can do their protesting And also call the police, call security, make sure they stay in that little boxed area.
On it. I saw people stepping on US flags. And so then
Hey, if they're stepping on US flags, doesn't that show that they hate the US? Like, come on, just go to another country. You don't have to deal with any of this nonsense, like that, what you think is nonsense here. Antifa or people that just don't like this country, just go move to another one.
I ended up joining this line of people to enter when all of a sudden I start hearing 3 loud booms, and it sounded as if it was almost a bomb or gunshots going off. I later found out it was, I believe, some car revving or fireworks, and then all of a sudden I see a glass bottle being.
Okay, I understand her fear. She thought it was a gunshot, just like that car that we saw in the other video, the car that we saw and heard. She thought it was a gunshot. This is horrible.
Thrown above the crowd at the police officers. And all of a sudden the police officers, they kind of get into a formation. They put their visors on, and that's when the glass bottles getting thrown on us. And so I, at the time, was standing with a police officer. I was the first person in line in the barricade that at the time was open. So I ran through the barricade and I ran through the 2 lines of police officers, and I kind of hid beneath the police officers to be protected from a glass shard and bottle that was almost a few inches from my head.
Yeah, and
these people are so gross. Okay, yell if you want. Have these signs if you want. But don't throw glass bottles. Don't rev up cars that sound like gunshots. People are sick, and not in a good way.
So just so everybody's clear about what actually happened, and you were so close to it that you probably didn't understand the tactical formations that were happening. So these Antifa people, and I've got the whole rundown from our team, these Antifa thugs tried to basically block off the one entrance to the venue.
Just loved how Andrew called them thugs, because they are not cool at all. They're just idiots that yeah. I liked how he called them thugs.
And we could show the flyers. So this was a coordinated assault on this event. The flyers, what is the image, folks? I saw it here just a second ago. I want to put this up because I want people to understand. It's 141. Throw it up.
Yeah.
So
Berkeley, End Fascist Turning Point's youth-oriented campaign of incitement to violence.
This is laughable. Incitement to violence, and yet you are the ones that are throwing the glass bottles. You are the ones that are inciting the violence. You're the ones that are just beating people up. You're the ones that, well, because you're there, we have to have the police called on you. Seriously? You think that this place is violence? The place where people just come together and just say, hey, I agree or disagree with you. Let's talk about it. My gosh. These people are idiots.
Yeah, so what they're doing now is they're claiming that Turning Point is inciting violence by holding a free speech event in Charlie's honor, something he died for, something he was murdered for.
As always, our speech is violence. Their violence is speech.
Yeah, exactly. The whole upside down, bizarro world that is the radical left. So what they did is they cordoned everybody. They tried to block the one entrance. And what happened was we were begging the police. Our staff was begging the police to get involved to open this up. And it wasn't until actual violence started happening that the police finally, did something to block these people off and create safe passage. And they did sort of a thing that we experienced at UCLA a few years back where they played with the QR codes. So maybe you could speak into this, Layla, where a lot of people had QR codes, and sometimes we have to work with the universities, especially in California, for ticketing systems. And a lot of people were having issues with that. Can you explain what was going on there? What do you know about that?
Yeah, so pretty much like many.
Okay. Well, I think I should be done sharing my screen for now. So basically what I got from watching all of those videos is that the first one was definitely biased. They're like, oh no, there wasn't violence. It just looked bad, but some people were arrested because we have to report that. And then the second video I thought was mm, a bit more a bit more truthful, but not like 100%. Now, I liked how the Fox News one actually had like a camera that showed the whole, well, not the whole fight, but like it showed the guy in the red shirt and how he was running away and how he got grabbed and everything. And, you know, pictures can lie, but videos, like it either that has to be staged beforehand or like that's like the actual that actually shows what happened spontaneously. And I'm kind of thinking it was more the latter. And then the girl at the very end that was talking to Andrew on the Charlie Kirk show, she was actually there. She gave her inside perspective on the whole thing. And so, yeah, I kind of am tending to believe that Fox News didn't lie about this one, especially with their footage. And honestly, like, I just really feel for the people at UC Berkeley and just how awful that night probably was for them. Like, at least nobody died, but I guess that we'll wait to find out more about the guy that was in the red shirt. What happened to him? What happened? And honestly, like, I seriously think that if you are wanting to protest, especially if you're a leftist protester or an Antifa protester, you probably better think really long and hard about how to do it peacefully because apparently this peaceful stuff is not in your bones and it's not genetic. So that's where my thoughts are. Hashtag I am Charlie Kirk.